Today we've had another dynamic day. So yesterday we finished off the module. We had pilgrimage. Today we start a new module, B2. The first part, B1, communion, B2, co-responsibility and mission. And this is a really interesting piece now. So yeah, B1 was interesting, I know, but this one gets to models of church if you would like. And in B2, we're looking about how do we have an all ministerial church. It's asking new questions. Questions about us as church, not just the ministry of the priest, the deacons, but the ministry of the whole people of God. And to start us off, as we start a new module, we always will start with Mass. We had Mass in St. Peter's Square, in St. Peter's Basilica, said by one of our cardinals from Africa in French. And then we came to the Synod Hall where the Holy Father was there. And then we had Madre Magdalena giving us a wonderful reflection on the role of women in the New Testament. And she wasn't exhaustive, but she just pulled a few that were really fascinating. She said, wherever you see the woman in the New Testament, there's a disruption and a new beginning in the ministry and the flow of the early church. If you take the woman at the well, the disciples are there about, going out and speaking 2 by 2, 1 by 1. And she comes in, she opens a whole new reality as she encounters Jesus Christ. And then she goes and tells everybody in the village and opens up a mission in that village to everyone there who come then to encounter Christ. There's Lydia in the Acts of the Apostles who, when Paul meets Lydia and she says, she's a businesswoman, and she says, if you really count me a Christian, come and stay at my house. And she really puts Paul to the test, and Paul comes to stay at her house. And there we have the opening up of the mission to all of Europe. There's Mary Magdalene, who after the Last Supper, when everyone thought the mission was closed off, she receives that encounter with Jesus, and then she becomes apostle to the apostles, and she puts new fire into the heart of the apostles. And there's so many other examples of women in the New Testament who really create a new dynamic and a dynamism for the mission and ministry of the gospel and of missionary discipleship. And then we had Professor Carlos from Argentina, he's from Latin America, and he's one of the theological advisors. And he gave us a wonderful reflection on mission, that the church is missionary by its very essence. To be synodal is to be missionary. To be missionary is to be synodal. The church has a mission, but it's really that the mission has a church. And he says the principal agent in the mission is the Holy Spirit. And it is the Spirit who animates the church for mission and ministry. And that Spirit is given not just to those through ordination, but to everyone from baptism. And therefore, all the people of God are animated to mission and ministry. We had a couple different people coming and giving us testimonies. There were two who gave testimonies about being digital disciples. With the Synod, they started off with 100 digital disciples. Now they have 2,000 digital disciples in Latin America. And I wonder if that's something that our church could look at. How do we cultivate digital disciples, people or digital missionaries, people who are on the web and are ready to proclaim the good news of Christ, and people who are sharing. Now we start a new phase of this journey where our groups will then come together. I am in B2, which is about an all ministerial church, and the conversation there is really about how do we think of church with every baptized person as a minister in the church. In the Caribbean, we are ahead on this game because we've been doing this for a very long time. And we've had our laity and our priests and our deacons and our religious and our ecclesial consecrated, all working together in mission and ministry of the church. And so there's some fruitfulness that we've had from our experience to bring to the wider church and its context. Remember, keep praying for us. This is a wonderful conversation that we are having, and it's going to be a fruitful conversation. God bless you.